What up, YouTube? You already know who it is. Those are the GOAT, aka those that don't fold, man. We finna react to Inside the NBA. They finna talk about James Harden, Ben Simmons. Y'all comment who won that trade. Y'all comment who's the better team. And we finna see what the fuck wrong with these Lakers team, because they ain't do nothing. So the fact they ain't do nothing, that means they ain't finna get better. Because THC ain't getting better. He gonna need another 6 years to get better, because what, he young. So we finna see what they have to say, man. Let's get straight to it. Like, sub, show love. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Let's watch this video.
A lot of ground to cover on this trade deadline day before we bring you the Nets and Wizards, followed by the Bucks and the
Watch
Suns.
your step there. Watch your step.
Matt,
All right,
okay over
RoboCop?
there? All right.
You all right, Matt? And TNT, trip you every time.
TNT.
All I can say is,
All right, man, we finna see what Reggie Miller said. Not sure if I ever laughed so hard at comment from Sir Charles to King James and KD during the closing. Reserved selections.
Not sure if I've ever laughed so
man.
hard. The comments from Sir
Sending
Charles
shots
to
to
King
Harden, man.
James
That
and
shit not- that shit
KD
really
during the closing reserve selection show on the NBA on TNT. Durant trying to avoid it.
shout out to the great Red Barella, Corey Jones, you hop on it too.
Don't
That
start
was,
trying hard.
that was quite the moment. They deserve Emmys for that, certainly. Nominations.
You know they're not gonna get a ring.
Oh,
How
man,
about
that
that?
was some fun.
Get a ring.
So it's been
more rings
also,
for y'all.
besides doing the draft, just watching the clock tick down on the trade deadline and wondering, is this going to happen? And we want to bring in Chris Haynes to the conversation.
Yes.
He's one of our TNT sideline reporters, obviously, and the NBA insider for Yahoo Sports. And it's always good to see you, Chris. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us. So let's be Brooklyn to Philadelphia. Ben Simmons going from Philadelphia to Brooklyn. Let's take a look at the trade with the American Express jersey assurance. Harden and Millsap going to the Sixers. Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond.
So let's just go ahead and get the line. You got Tyrese Maxey at the 1, Harden at the 2, 9 times out of 10, Tabo at the 3. You got Tobias at the 4, Joel Embiid at the 5. You got this man named Niang coming off the bench. I think they got a backup center. They still got Shane Milton coming off the bench. They got Paul Millsap just in case. You know he sucks, but he'll play his role. And that's about it, so they got a good solid 8-man roster, so better stay healthy. Now the Nets, Kyrie, Point, fuck, they suck too. Kyrie, Point, Seth 2, KD 3, Ben 4, Andre. I don't know what they finna do, but they got Patty Mills off the bench. They might have Curry off the bench. KD, Kyrie, KD, Kyrie, Ben is on the lineup. Who knows if Drummond or Claxton start? Who knows how, Steve Nash finna play that lineup? But you know who's getting the minutes. Claxton's gonna get minutes. Drummond getting the minutes. KD, Kyrie, Ben. Seth Curry and Patty Mills finna give minutes. So now you got 2 shooters off the bench. So if Ben and Kyrie off whatever, you still got 2 great shooters. You still got Bembry and Brown. Oh, Bembry gone, but they got Bruce Brown. So it's pretty little deep. That team a little deep. Let's get to it though, man. A little deep team.
Chris.
But
well, I think this was something the Brooklyn Nets felt they needed to do. I was following the Nets for the last 3 weeks, doing sidelines for TNT, and just talking with the players on that Nets team and looking at their body language. They were exhausted. The James Harden saga had weared on them, and it got to a point where it was affecting their play on the basketball court because they knew that he wasn't all in. And
y'all
you guys
suck.
know that.
What the fuck that
once
gotta do
you
with
have
anything? Kyrie, bro, what are you fucking talking about? Harden play with these fucking scrubs. Kyrie, you barely played this year. How this shit wearing you down? You ain't even play. What the fuck you talking about, bro? You talking about these weak ass motherfuckers on the starting lineup? No. Talking about they wearing it. No, you wearing Harden down. That's why he left.
A prominent figure on the roster.
Trash, bro.
They don't feel like they're getting involved. It has an effect on the rest of the team. So I think the Brooklyn Nets felt like this was something that they couldn't keep over their heads for the rest of this season.
Tired?
So they made a deal and got Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons gets a fresh start. I spoke to Rich Paul, Ben Simmons' agent. He's looking forward to the opportunity. He always spoke with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And he's looking forward to it. And they're going to take some time to get him acclimated. But both sides, James Harden and Ben Simmons, is getting a fresh new start. And I think it was more beneficial them doing it now opposed to doing it in the offseason because I was told by front office rivals that there were possibly going to be some complaints about tampering because James Harden is so close to Sixers co-owner Michael Rubin, and they felt like
Good point.
there were going to possibly be some backdoor channels that were going down. So it made all the sense in the world to kind of get this deal done now, and so we'll see what happens.
Replied no. So was this trade a shocker to James Harden, or did he know, or did him and his agent know he was getting traded?
Let's hear it. Ah! In this little commercial break, man, we got 10 seconds left. Like, sub, show love, comment. How y'all feel about this shit? Ooh, I can skip the ad.
I don't know if they knew for sure, but obviously they knew that things were in the work for a few days right now. And again, I was around this net team for the last 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
They kept downplaying the fact that James Harden did not want to leave. When everybody else was hearing otherwise, they kept saying that he's committed to the organization. So that was a talking point that they were trying to relay to everybody, and they were downplaying all the hoopla that was coming out, but it was serious hoopla. James did want out. He just didn't feel the fit was right for his talents at that time, and
that's
we
real
feel like
though.
this is the best move for him in his
bro.
career.
They
Right
got
now.
no real center. He trying
Chris,
to Bill Claxton. You got KD hurt, and it's just like he fought with KD. I know KD don't fuck with him as much. You feel me? Due to this shit, but it's just like, bro, the team wasn't working. They fucking sucked. You look at the last time the Lakers and Brooklyn played, and look at that starting lineup. How the fuck you?
This is a fascinating trade, in my opinion. I have zero idea what's gonna happen. I don't know how Embiid and Harden gonna fit together, because James a dominant ball guy. Embiid is a great dominant. He's the MVP so far. But also, you flip it to Brooklyn. You got Ben who won't shoot. You got Kyrie who only gonna play in half the games. How is that thing gonna work with when KD comes back? Like,
how's it gonna work, man? At the end of the day, they're gonna try to run Ben Simmons kind of like how did Bruce Brown, since Bruce Brown trash as fuck, he can't shoot threes. They're gonna bring KD off of Bruce Brown, shit like that. Bring Kyrie off of Bruce Brown. Not Bruce Brown, Ben Simmons, and then it's gonna be that quick pass to Ben. That mid range, and the paint is gonna be all Ben Simmons. It's gonna be easy. And they might play him at the 5 for Audrey, so it's not like they don't have space. And Ben Simmons is gonna be a beast in that offense due to the fact they got a bunch of shooters everywhere, and that paint is gonna be open for him.
It's gonna be fast. He's really. In some games, he's going to be one-on. Joe Harris is going to come back. But in a lot of games, it's really going to be 1-on-5.
Yeah, Chuck, we still don't know if Joe Harris is going to come back this season. He's still looking at how he's going to handle his ankle injury. But with that being said, I think the Brooklyn Nets feel like, look, we get an all-star player. Obviously, this is an all-star player that has deficiency on the offensive end. But we get him in, a guy that wants to be there, most importantly, and a guy that's going to be able to play as soon as they get him acclimated. I think if they looked at the landscape of the league and it didn't, they got a good one, and they were on Sean Marks and Elton Brand of the Sixers and making sure that, look, asking, you sure you want to do this? This is the number one, and statistically the number one defender in the league, and it's going to be tough next season to try to make that championship push and eliminate.
Especially, Chris, I don't know if you've asked the execs at either spot this question, especially in Brooklyn. Is this a next year move if you're thinking of Brooklyn? Because if you're looking at winning a championship, that was the thing that was supposed to happen this year in Brooklyn. And now you have a guy like Charles says, can only play in half the games, the ones only on the road. You have a guy who hasn't played in a half a season or more, 3/4 of a season. So you have your best player who hasn't played in the last 10, 15 games. So is this a next year move, as you asked that question, or is it, we're going for the championship this year?
They ain't beating Miami, they ain't beating Milwaukee, they ain't beating Philly, so no.
When you're talking about a championship this year, is it possible? Yes, it is possible.
I bet it is, because you got KD.
You have to work Ben Simmons into the fold. That's going to take weeks.
Good
maybe
luck.
a month. We don't know how long it's going to take for him
Miami
to get
in
back
5.
into the fold. And not just get back into the fold, get
Miami
back
in
to
5.
playing all-star Ben Simmons type of level of basketball. They don't know what's going to happen with the New York
All I
City
want to
mandate
say
on
is
the
with
vaccine.
Aldridge
If
there,
Kyrie,
with
if that
KD
if
there,
that restriction would be
with
lifted,
Claxton still being
Kyrie
there
will
and
be able to
Drummond
play in
being
home
there,
games. So there's a
for 9
lot
times out
to
of
cover
10,
there. To
that
answer your question,
paint is
Kenny, I
gonna be
think you
open,
have to
and
look
then
into
if
next
not,
season
you still
and
got
say,
two
okay, I think
dominant,
the
no,
situation with
two great
Kyrie will be
rebounding,
resolved
rim
at that point.
protecting bigs for the
Ben
most
Simmons
part.
will
They
be
do
up to form
a
at that
decent
point. You got
job
to look
up to a
towards the
good
future.
job,
Now, the problem you
so
had with
they'll
James
be
Harden is
fine.
you really couldn't look towards the future because James Harden on the way from departing, and then they bought in. Everybody knows he's a few months away from departing, and then they knew that definitely he wasn't coming back next season. So
Yeah, they know.
You talk about Ben Simmons acclimating. I can understand that, new system, et cetera.
Yep.
But from talking to Rich Paul, do you get the impression that emotionally Ben Simmons could play right now?
Yeah, Ben,
I
I
don't
got
know
a
the
mental
answer to that,
illness.
Ernie. To be
Like,
honest with you,
are you
I
really a
will say
hooper?
this. He's still going to be, seeing his therapist and
That's what
trying
I'm
to get
saying,
himself
bro. Are you?
mentally right.
I
But
want to know. Are
definitely,
you capping
this
when
is
you
a
got
breath of
mental
fresh
issues?
air for him. He's
You're a
lost a
cancer, bro.
lot
You're
of money, as
emotional,
you
bro. I
guys know,
understand,
with the
bro. But
fines
I'm
and
just
everything,
saying, are
and not
you
playing.
really sad?
And this is
Or you just don't
a
want to
huge
play?
weight off of his shoulder. So him going into a fresh start and
That's
playing
that
for
capping
for
shit,
a
man.
player trust a lot
Motherfuckers
of
be
people.
capping.
I expect Ben, like I said, I expect it to take some time, get back into form, expedite that process. And
Your shot, and we can.
Okay.
I know there are a couple that stood out to the guys here on the panel. I mean, Kristaps Porzingis
Wizards,
goes to the Wizards from Dallas for
trash.
Spencer Dinwiddie
Dallas,
and Davis
I don't
Bertans.
understand this.
Montrezl Harrell
We will see
is
what Jason
now
can do
a
with
Hornet.
this. Hornets.
The Suns
Just a
had
bunch of
Torrey
emotion.
Craig
That's
and
so
Aaron
much swag
Holiday.
over there in Charlotte.
The
Trash. And the
Milwaukee
Wizards.
Bucks.
Suns just got more
Serge
deep.
Ibaka.
Great pickup.
Rockets don't
Great
matter. They
pickup
don't got
by
John
the
Wall,
team
so now they
deal.
got a decent
And the
point
Boston
guard.
Celtics.
We don't care about the Spurs.
Daniel
That
Tice is
first
back
round
with the
pick.
Celtics.
They
Derek
suck.
White
I'm
from
not
San
worried about
Antonio
them. They
to
got
Boston
Dame Tice after they gave him
for a
up.
Celtic team that has been
Derek White,
playing
he's not
much
winning.
better at
Bucks,
this
Serge
point.
Ibaka, that's a big move. Clippers,
So
no,
which of those jump out at you, Chris?
Marvin Bagley.
you know what? They're all solid moves. I would say probably I was shocked a little bit with the Kristaps move to Washington, bringing over Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah, that's weird.
We all knew that Dallas was looking for shooters. Dinwiddie's name kind of came off the board. That was a little bit surprising. And what the Wizards are trying to do as well. Bradley Beal most likely
Hey!
is going to step
They
into
just gave that man up.
but the Wizards are making some moves to try to convince
Chris
Brad
Top,
that
Kuzma.
they're still
Yeah.
trying to
Who
make
their point
moves
guard?
to contend, because ultimately that's what Bradley Beal wants
But
to do.
who's their
He wants
point
to
guard?
play for a championship, and he wants to play for a team that's moving in that direction. So, I think those two teams probably stood out.
Should have stayed in Brooklyn, Spencer.
How about what went on or did not go on with the Los Angeles Lakers
This
today?
is why I clipped the video.
Yeah, it was tough. They don't have many assets. We all knew that. Taylor Horton Tucker was probably the lone treasured asset that they had, and nobody in his place. You can't trade him and get somebody to replace him. That was probably going to be an upgrade. That was going to significantly help the Lakers. So they were stuck in that regard.
Sucks,
But what I was told this, sources informed me that the Rockets did reach out to the Lakers to offer John Wall for Russell Westbrook, but they wanted the Lakers to include a first-round pick.
No.
The Lakers declined that. And so that was the
Westbrook
that the Lakers couldn't do. So this team is standing pat, but it's still looking dim there as far as bringing in somebody that's going to help and transition them to a team that we all thought was going to be a contending team.
That the Lakers are going to win 6 games in a row. Are you riding with me or you riding with Kenny?
So Kenny said they were going to win 6 in a row?
Yes, he did on national television.
I'm
rolling with you, Chuck.
Yes, sir. Sorry ass Lakers. I'm gonna end that video, man. We're gonna put it like this: Harden and Embiid, great pick and roll game. They need to just figure out that defensive shit right there. Figure out their rotation. Doc Rivers, championship coach, they'll figure something out. Brooklyn, very deep, a lot of shooters, not too many defenders. But with KD and Ben, they got their wingspan with they got Drummond and Claxton, so they got rim protectors. They got 2 long wings, so they have enough defense. And everybody else out suck, including the Lakers. Appreciate y'all watching this though, man. Like, sub, show love. And in this video, Philly, we going to the finals. Shout out to James Harden, man. Save the culture. Save it. Save it. He gonna be chilling with Meat Mills, Lil Uzi. Just wait for it. Look at me. Y'all looking at me? He's finna be chilling. We Meat Mills and Uzi. We in the studio. We out, man. Tell Lil Baby pull up. Oh God. But appreciate y'all, man. Like, sub. You already know. Deuces.